I'm sure y'all have heard it. I'm sure that Gen Z has heard it. They're weak, they're lazy, they don't want to work. All they do is lay around and play video games and complain and whine. I don't believe that though. I don't believe that at all. And I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain what I see. It's semi-quiet in here right now. Good enough for us to have a little chat, a little chatty chat. So, millennials, we had it rough in a weird way. We believed in what America was becoming, what the world was becoming. But we graduated into 9/11. And so in our youth, we had a very good idea of what it was like to go from a sense of freedom to fear. What's this? Like boxes. Some monogrammed cup. Right as many of us were becoming parents, the recession happened. It hit us pretty hard because most of us hadn't really established a career. Things seemed all right there for a minute. And then things started to get weird. The pandemic happened and we got shut down again. Housing prices soared, rent is absolutely out of control. And so it's been pretty dependent on how you started in your life. Not fully, but most people have been fighting an uphill battle. And I don't mean like fighting like the boomers' fault. I mean fighting like for instance, there was a time during the recession where I had a can of green beans and some flour and some vegetable oil and a little bit of milk. It's kind of cool. Y2K look. Lead safe. Good news. And my daughter was 3 or 4 at the time. And to get us through the night, a reading llama red pajama, had to fry up dough into little balls. Not even like good dough, like not hush puppy dough. Like just flour, a little bit of milk, a little bit of oil, and cook a can of green beans. And prior to that, I had 2 jobs. So, before anybody hops on here and says, oh, you should have just worked harder, you should have had a better job. I'd had 2 jobs. I was juggling a lot. And that was when I really started to take eBay seriously. So I was hustling, trying to figure out how to manage this with a young child. So that's just an example of the kind of fighting an uphill battle I'm referring to. And I'm not whining, because I'm a badass now. Like, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can do. I understand how much I've grown. So I'm not whining. I know, you know, some of the boomers and boomer juniors will get on here and claim that. And when I say that, I don't believe that all the boomers and the boomer juniors are, you know, hateful, ignorant, selfish. I don't believe that at all, but I do know that there's a proclivity to waltz in that direction. I've experienced it enough to where no one can convince me otherwise. Facial globes. Good Lord, I probably need those at this point. But then there's Gen Z. And that's what I'm talking about today, is I have raised someone from Gen Z. I have tried to be supportive of many in Gen Z. That is cute. Place and time. I like that. I have employed Gen Z. I've had very meaningful discussions with them on a fairly regular basis, I feel like, compared to a good portion of the population. And they got screwed. Like, entirely screwed. The majority of them basically lost any real essence of childhood. They had almost no freedom or privacy in comparison to what generations before them had. And there's a crab. I wonder if that's even very old. Ooh, a la loopsy thing. What are you doing here? I don't know if any of this is valuable. I feel like I'm just picking up items I like. What are you? You feel vintage, but not quite vintage. I don't want to mess with it. It's too close to Easter. Ooh, one of the burp zombies. I actually bought a bunch of these at Walmart for less, or for more than this. Like, they went on clearance and I got them for $2.50 each. And I'm gonna put them away, because usually if they sort of seem like they're discontinuing an item after a season, then they probably didn't sell very well, which means they're probably not going to make a lot more, at least initially. And that means that the people who did like them aren't going to be able to find them. I'm pretty sure this bus is worth something. I've seen this before for $1.99. So yeah, they became fairly isolated already with social media, but then right as they're going through some of the most important moments of their lives, the moments that help develop who they are going to become, the world shut down. And they were stuck in homes, and many of those homes were not, oh Lord, these zombies don't know how to shut up.
Somebody corralled in.
It's motion activated, so it just keeps making noise. these? Are these vintage? No. Little loopsies. All these rings everywhere. Anywho, there's some ghost face gloves. Sometimes those are missing from the costumes, but I don't think they'd be really worth it. So the world shuts down and they're stuck in these homes and they don't know what's going on. Many of them had big dreams of where they were going to go for college, what they were going to do, and then there became a lot of uncertainty and they started to struggle with mental health issues and they were stuck around people that they probably didn't need to be stuck around sometimes. And it affected them. I watched it. It's still affecting them. And they don't make excuses because of that. Before anyone says that also, H2Go Force. I have no idea. I've never seen this. I think it's probably just some crappy thing that they tried to make money on, but we'll see. They don't really make excuses. They're very much trying, many of them. And the ones that I've worked with are actually excellent employees. I mean, are they sort of over a lot of things? Are they going to do things that seem useless or unimportant? That's kind of cool. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna go for enough to make it worth it. I mean, they're young, you know, and they've lost hope in everything that people should have hope in. And they've been gaslit and shunned by most faiths and denominations, and they've been constantly told that they are too weak and not capable and have a bad attitude and worthless and irresponsible and disrespectful, just constantly. You know, and in history, older people would say that about the youth. Pretty much every generation has dealt with that to some degree, but now we have social media, so they just hear it all the time. It's drilled into their brains. And that has manifested in some weird ways. Some people have gotten a little extreme because they're trying to fit in and be accepted. Some people have gone off the rails. Some people, why do they have a skirt? That is so weird. Good Lord. We're all blue. Huh. I feel like I could sell that. Raw blue. Do I want to buy it at full price though? I don't know. It depends. Oh, good Lord, that zombie. That's the only downside of those is they're like light sensitive. And I'm guessing once you take them out of the package, you can like turn that off. I think this is Pottery Barn. It's got a couple stains on it. I don't even see a price. $5.99. Maybe we'll come back to that if it's here. So where were we? They got the shaft. And people have just psychologically manipulated them at ridiculous levels. And now their education is being threatened. Their jobs are being threatened, especially by AI, but on multiple fronts. It's getting really, I don't know if people are aware of this really, because I feel like if you're aware of this, there's no way you can not understand what I'm saying. But when you apply for a job now, almost all of it's online, and so it filters people almost immediately based on like algorithms and, you know, data. So many of them never even get a chance to speak to anyone about employment. And if you go in and harass them the way we could back in the good old days, they just keep telling you, you have to go online, we'll contact you, blah, blah, blah. They'll deflect it. And corporations are basically looking for people who fit certain molds. Especially for like better jobs, but also remarkably for not so great jobs. Because now they figured out another innocent tale. What are those? I'm curious. No, it's got some style though. Companies don't want people who are going to rock the boat. They don't want people who are going to try to move up into management or want to raise, so they can figure out, this person is probably going to want too much. Those look very fancy. They're very nice condition too. And so you get filtered out. I mean, I have so much work experience, it's ridiculous, because most of my adult life I've had 2 jobs, or at least 1 job and a side hustle, and I've stopped applying because there's been moments where I think, well, maybe if I just go wash dishes a couple nights a week, or find something that doesn't take a lot of mental energy and I can just kind of check out. I'm an excellent worker. You can ask any of my bosses. That I can just make a little extra money, get some activity, have a little time to decompress from trying to do my own thing, and it'll be good for me. So I would, for a while, keep trying to sort of apply for jobs. I kind of like that hat for myself. All-seeing eye. So I struggle to get a job, like just a basic job. So I can only imagine what they're thinking, what they're experiencing. So it's just kind of gotten really messed up really quickly. And they need support. and the support's not there. They need people who are going to teach them how to do things, you know, like how they need people with wisdom on their side. And there's just not very many wise people now. And they get torn down, manipulated, made fun of, ridiculed, gaslit, discouraged. But despite that, and this is my point, because all of that sounds so negative, right? Despite that, they are very educated. Now, are they traditionally educated? Not really, because, you know, they got screwed. And also, we just so happen to be realizing that a solid 50%, if not more, of the things that we believe to be true were false. But they are very smart. They know how to play along. They've learned how to manipulate the system because they have experienced so much trauma around that. I mean, they learn from the best, right? So, they, in my opinion, are quite capable and brilliant. This is good. I'm gonna have to check it over. That may be like a $60, $70 piece right there. They can create and edit a 1-hour video in like a flippin' 5 minutes, and they can understand tech and hacking and things that I don't even know how to describe, honestly, right now. They are very aware of politics, and they don't always know how to quote history precisely, but they are aware of the type of things that have happened in history, and they understand the moral and ethical sides of it. They are very globally connected, so they understand multiple cultures well, and they pursue that because they were sort of raised slightly different than we were. These are super cool. Those are Y2K, wide leg, corduroy with a drawstring. All the, was it mall goth, and I can't even remember. That's another thing. They have created an entire world of fashion and art that you can't even wrap your mind around. I still watch older generations, including millennials. I'm not acting like I haven't contributed to this or that I don't have things I need to work on. But they have created something entirely different. Despite all the shit that they've gone through at a young age. Like, we're talking like early 20s, late teens, and some of the sort of early teens. We're talking about very young people who should have almost zero responsibility other than household chores and learning how to manage those first initial years of their adulthood. And they've done more already than some of the other generations. And so when I hear these things, that they're not capable, they're weak, they're disrespectful, blah, 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 blah. All I can see now is they're threatening to the status quo. They are threatening to the people who have manipulated themselves into power. They are different and misunderstood, and that scares people. But if any Gen Z has even continued to listen to my ramble, which is not likely because they have better things to do with their lives, but if they have, I want them to know, like personally from me, that there are some of us who understand what has happened and what you have dealt with and where you're at in life and what you're up against and the overall sense of hopelessness that sometimes y'all combat. Because what direction do you go in? What do you major in right now? What job do you get if you can get one? What do you do with your family? What decisions do you make for yourself? I don't know. I've had to tell my own child to follow her gut. At this point, I can give her overall wisdom and insight the best that I can, but otherwise, she is on her own when it comes to figuring out what she needs to do, because I don't know. I don't even know what to tell her to invest in or where to put her money. Like, I don't know. So, I want them to know that some of us see it, some of us support them, some of us believe in them. Like, I believe in them honestly more than any generation since the greatest generation. And I know they didn't sign up to have to survive. They didn't sign up to have to be great, to save the world. They didn't have to sign up, or they didn't sign up for all those things. But I still know in my heart that they are going to have to rise to that occasion, and they're going to have to fix things that were created before they ever existed on this earth and that were left unchecked and not taken care of. And so I support them. I believe in them. For those who are not Gen Z, if you're still listening and I haven't just gotten your peeper dinkles in a twist, spend some time trying to get to know them without interjecting, without putting your beliefs on them. Just ask them some questions. The Rex. I wonder if that's good. It's kind of cool. I was not intending on spending all kinds of money today. Hopefully some of these things are worthless. Freedom. Cotton On. This feels really nice too, but not as cool looking. And look, they're a little like feral animals, okay? So you can't just come up on them and be like, let's have a discussion. Sit down and let's talk. No. You have to actually let them warm up to you. Get around them just enough to listen to the things that they're saying. Try to understand why they're saying it. You may have to learn some of their slang because God bless them, they came up with half of their own language and a way of communicating, which is probably a big plus at the moment. But warm up to them, support them, help them figure it out, give them jobs, teach them, because nobody fucking has. And on that note, if you have a problem with language, I'm sorry, but it's language, okay? Like, it doesn't mean that I'm dirty. And those who edit themselves for other people aren't necessarily clean. So if you don't like that, definitely find someone else to harass. That is a nice Izod leather jacket for $6.99. But yeah, that is what I wanted to say. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, and it might make people mad, and knowing Gen Z, they might even laugh at me. I don't really blame them, but I think it needs to be said. I think people need to start paying closer attention to what's going on, what's happening, why it matters, and they definitely need to stop blaming and projecting onto people who just got a bank account like a couple of years ago. Because the older generations have all but ruined everything that we were handed. So give them a little credit. All right, that's it. I'll leave y'all alone, but I am gonna look through the prices on these, and I'll do a little update right at the end. And I promise very few of my videos, more than likely, will be this serious or have these type of conversations, but this one just needed to be had. All right, I'll get back to y'all in a second. I am putting everything back. So everything could have gone between about $20 to $40. A couple of the $40 things they didn't have high sell-through rates, like they would eventually sold, but not quickly. The Izod jacket, I probably could have gotten more like $70, but the inner lining had a zipper issue. And the vast majority of it was like in the $20 to $30 range, and I'm just not, I don't need that right now. I'm in the process of listing over 1,000 items. I'm about 220 deep. I should be done by mid-February at the latest. And then I'll be trying to source more each day, and I'm okay with those $20, $30 items, but right now there's really no need for it. So want and put it all away, and also decided I don't need another hat right now. I'm penny pinching. I have plenty of hats. All right, well, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope y'all have a good day or night or whatever. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.